Designed by the inimitable Sidney Cam, the Hawker Nimrod served as a fighter on Britain's aircraft carriers from 1932 to just before the outbreak of World War II. The Nimrod came from a requirement to replace the Fairey Flycatcher that was becoming increasingly obsolete by the late 1920s. None of the aircraft proposed was suitable after trials, although the Hawker Hoopo was thought promising for further development. Cam replaced the Hoopo's radial engine with the Rolls-Royce Kestrel and produced an aircraft very similar to the Hawker Fury fighter, although with a broader wingspan. The first prototype was known as the Norn, later renamed to Nimrod. The Nimrod was an open cockpit single-seat biplane equipped with 2 machine guns that fired through the propeller with synchronizing gear. After successful testing, including a voyage on HMS Eagle, 35 Nimrods were ordered in 1931, with a further 19 the following year. The Nimrod entered service in 1932 with 408 Fleet fighter flight on HMS Glorious, later also equipping numbers 402 and 409 flights. When the Fleet fighter flights were amalgamated into squadrons in 1933, Nimrods were allocated to 800 Squadron on HMS Courageous, 801 Squadron on HMS Furious, and 802 Squadron on HMS Glorious. The improved Nimrod 2 was introduced in 1934, having a slightly larger wing with a modest sweep, a slightly larger tail, and an uprated engine to improve performance at sea. 27 of these aircraft were ordered. However, by 1939, just before Britain's entry into the war, the Nimrod had been replaced in squadrons by the Gloucester Sea Gladiator and the Blackburn Skua, although some Nimrods remained in service at training establishments until 1941. 2 Hawker Nimrods, a Mark I and a Mark II, are still flying today. Both of these are preserved at the Shuttleworth Collection in the UK. Kits of the Hawker Nimrod are few and far between. CMK has done resin kits of both marks. The Mark I is a rarity on the second-hand market, although you can still get the Mark II from retailers. Just be aware that a resin biplane is not for the faint-hearted. A more common approach amongst modelers is to combine 2 Hawker Fury kits, so you get the extended wings, although you will need to scratch build an arrestor hook, a headrest for the pilot, and the oil cooler under the engine. At larger scales, you really only have the option of resin. Luke Graft sell the Mark I Nimrod in both 1/48th and 1/32nd scales.